friends, welcome back to Helena's Craft Barn. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made these adorable little concrete pumpkins. For this project, you will want to gather all your supplies beforehand, and I will list them in the description box below. I start here by cutting my strings about 2.5 feet, depending on the size of your pumpkin. And then I measured 2 parts cement to 1 part sand. My sand is very wet. It rained on in my sand bucket, but I don't think it'll matter. I'm going to be adding water anyways. You want to mix this nice and thoroughly to make sure there's no clumps in it before you add water. And then you want to make sure you only add a little bit at a time so it doesn't get too wet. And then I went and took my stockings, my pantyhose, I cut the legs off and put them over a container to keep the hole open. And then I scooped in about 4 cups, and this will depend on the size of pumpkin that you want. I laid out my string, and you want to make sure you have 3 strings per pumpkin. And you just want to cut off the extra stocking and tie a knot. And then taking the strings that you laid out, you want to come across and tie them nice and tight to get that pumpkin shape. And then you can get them as loose or as tight as you want, however you want your pumpkin to look. Get creative and make your own, right? This next step here is optional. I took my thumb and I pushed it into the center, and this is where I will be adding my stem later. And then repeated the process again for my other pumpkins. But you want to keep in mind the size of your socks or stocking will depend on the pumpkin that you're able to make. If you take just a regular sock, you will not be able to make a very big pumpkin, but if you use looser stockings, you're able to make a nice size. And then you just want them to rest for a couple days. And then you want to take the string off and cut off the pantyhose. And then I mixed again 1 part sand to 2 part cement, and I mixed it with my hands so I could feel the consistency. You want it to be a little thicker than before so that you can form your stems. For the first one here, I just put it on just the way it was. From there on, I went ahead and poured a little bit of water into the hole, and I found that this helped the stem bond better to my pumpkin. After letting them sit for a day or so, I went ahead and took my deck stain and give them some color. I was gonna leave them bare, but then I thought maybe I could seal them with something, and I saw that I still had some stain left from staining our porch, so it actually adds a little bit of an orange tinge to it. So I changed my mind, and yeah, so I added a little bit of color. And while I was staining, I was a little rough and broke off my one stem, but I have an idea on how to fix that. I took some jute rope and I'm going to just twist it into a thicker rope. By gluing the pieces together, I can make sure that it kind of stays where I put it, and this will be my stem. I did end up liking it a lot, so after I was done, I tore the stems off of a couple more to create a couple more with the jute rope. And to attach them to the pumpkin, I ended up having some liquid nail left over from our previous project. I don't have the original package. I'd show you what it looked like, but it's so long ago. I just ended up putting everything into a jar, and so ended up using that to attach my handle, not a handle, my stem to my pumpkin, and it ended up working really well. It actually bonds much better than the cement did. So this was a look at before and after. I am really happy with how they turned out. They are so adorable. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have an awesome day.